Am I perspiring? No, it's just the rain. These fools could never make me sweat.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the little intro. I will not be doing the video on the Obito mask. It was very hard to talk in that mask. I don't know how Obito does it himself, but welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed the previous 4 videos of me fighting all of the bosses in Naruto Storm. We've done Storm 1, Storm 2, Storm 3, and Storm 4. In this video, this will be the last episode for the whole series. We're going to be ranking every boss in the Naruto Storm series, from S tier to D tier. You can, I think I have this poll up on Tier Maker, so if you ever wanted to make a video, I think I do right here. You can go on here and make your own video. So we're gonna get into it. It's not a whole lot of bosses. Shouldn't be too long of a video like the other ones. I know the Storm 3, I think Storm 2, 3, and 4. I think Storm 4 was like 2 hours. I think Storm 3 was maybe like a minute and 50. And I think Storm 2 was maybe like a minute and 30. I can't remember. I might have the videos pop up on the screen so that way you guys can see, the difference in time. But I know the Storm 1 video wasn't that long. Honestly, that game didn't really have a lot of bosses, and as I do the video, you're gonna see how I rank those bosses, because they weren't the best bosses, to be honest. But I'm gonna try to zoom in. I'm using Opera GX. I'm trying to remember how to do it. I might just not worry about it right now. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I've downloaded some of the boss screens, or some screenshots from the boss itself to help give you guys a picture of what bosses are on here. I think I have everybody, and it ain't gonna kind of hard to tell who's who. I don't even know who this is right here. And I had this stuff all saved. I might have to look on my my download files to remember who everyone is. But we're gonna just go ahead and get into it. Enough of the intro and stuff. We're gonna start with Storm 1 and go to Storm 4. Excuse me. So I want to make sure I have everybody on here. I'm gonna jump cut because I think I'm missing people. As we're back, I needed to get the Storm 4 Road to Boruto bosses, so I had to go back and get those. But I have everybody on here now that I know of. So we're gonna start with where will I start at? So I guess I'll just start with the ranking system, and how I rank everything. So really, with Storm bosses, the main thing you're looking for is maybe spectacle, maybe the length of the boss. For me, is it a short boss, is it a long boss, is it a difficult boss, is it an easy boss? Storm games have quick time events, so as you see, I had to press triangle, circle, square, and the boss in the middle of the kind of cutscenes, really. And when you hit them, you'll get stars, and then at the end you'll get a secret factor. I don't think Storm 1, actually no, maybe it did, I can't remember, but I don't know, Storm 1 didn't really, it had interactive actions, but I don't know if it had secret factors. I know 2, 3, and 4 did, but Storm 1 was still new when they were doing their bosses, so that's why they didn't have a lot of bosses outside of the giant bosses. And honestly, that was really it. And I think that's about it. I mean, yeah, difficulty, length, how difficult the boss was, how fun was the boss. Some bosses, are giant bosses, so they might function a lot differently. Some bosses are mob bosses, so you have to fight a whole bunch of different enemies and such. So it all kind of varies. So that's really it. So S rank would be kind of more like a conglomeration of all of those aspects. A rank, it's a pretty cool boss. It's not quite S, something is missing to bump it up from A to an S. B tier is a good boss. It's not, it's not the hardest boss. It might be somewhat easy, or maybe it's not the longest boss. If it was a little bit longer, maybe it could have bumped it up to A, but it didn't. C tier is just an average boss. As you're gonna see, I'm probably gonna have quite a few C tier bosses. I'm gonna be honest with you out of some of these, cause especially with Storm 1, Storm 3, and maybe Storm 4 is gonna have quite a few C rank bosses to me because some bosses just didn't do it for me. And D tier is just literally some of the worst bosses in Storm. There are a few on here. I'm not seeing them as I'm looking at the little screenshots, but I know that there are definitely some bosses that I did not like, and they're definitely going to be in the D rank tier, but we're gonna get into it once we get into it. So we're gonna start with Storm 1, and the first boss in Storm 1 was Naruto versus Gamabunta. I guess some backstory for the boss. Naruto was just starting his training with Jiraiya, trying to learn the Rasengan, and one of Jiraiya's tests was he had to fight Gamabunta. Gamabunta wanted him to punch him on the head, pretty much just land a punch on him, and I guess he would consider him worthy. This is the first boss. It's also the first giant boss. When I had the boss, it's really, the Storm 1 bosses are pretty, I guess you could say they're pretty generic. I'll say this is probably an okay boss. It's the tutorial boss. He's kind of showing you like, hey, you need to hit my head if you want to do some damage. He has a few attacks. He'll slam the sword on the ground. He'll jump up and create a shockwave. And I think he shoots water, and I think it follows you. I think that's what he does, and that's all he does, really. And then he has his 2 quick time events, and that's about it. So it's an okay boss. It's not necessarily trash because it is somewhat entertaining. You're fighting a big frog, getting you used to the interactive quick time events that Storm games are going to be known for later on. So it's okay, but it's not the best boss fight around. The same could be said for Shikaku and Naruto versus Shikaku and Gaara, I guess technically. It's also a C tier. I don't think I'm really gonna worry about like where in the C tier it would fit in. Maybe I'll do that at the end. Might jump cut to where I think they'll settle in their tiers, but for right now we're just gonna put them where they need to go. Yeah, Naruto versus Gaara and Shikaku is pretty much the same as Naruto versus Gamabunta. He has a few attacks. I think he shoots air bullets at you. He punches the ground with his fist, and he has a sand that follows you and it traps you, and then it gets you hit. And then, like I said, he has quick time events. Gaara doesn't really do anything that much. It's mainly you fighting Shikaku, but Gaara is kind of like your target that you need to hit. But it's cool. I mean, that impact of the story and him trying to stop Gaara from rampaging and destroying the Hidden Leaf was a really good story. In the show, I mean, in the game, they did their best trying to explain it, but it is what it is, and that's it for that. So who else is next? I'm trying to see. Oh, here it is. So this is Tsunade versus Manda and Orochimaru. So this is when they were going to find Tsunade to become the 5th Hokage. They ended up finding her, but then Orochimaru was trying to kill her. Jiraiya came in, and that's when they had the 3-way deadlock between the 3 Sannin. This is the only boss fight in the game where you don't play as Naruto, but it's only 3 bosses, so it isn't really that impressive. But again, it's a giant boss. Pretty much works the same way. I think Manda shoots his tail up through the ground. I think he throws rocks at you that you can throw back at him, so it's a little different. Tsunade has a little different moveset. And you mainly you don't really hit Manda, you hit Orochimaru riding on top of him. So he's the main target that you hit. It's not necessarily Manda. Manda's kind of just what's attacking him. So that's a little different from the other 2 bosses where the big boss was the boss that you were hitting. But it's a little different. It's okay, but like I said, I'm gonna be honest with you, most of the C tier bosses are mainly gonna be Storm 1 bosses, because they weren't the greatest. And I also don't. So the first boss fight of Storm 2 is Naruto versus Kakashi. So Naruto versus Kakashi, I would say this is actually the very first boss fight, and it's also technically a tutorial. And for a tutorial boss fight, it's actually a very great boss fight. Yeah, it's you wouldn't think that Naruto fighting Kakashi as a training exercise, like the bell test that they had in the first series. You know, you wouldn't think that that would be a boss, but they made it into a really cool boss fight. Kakashi used a lot of his different abilities: water dragon jutsu, lightning blade. He ended up like breaking, well, Sakura broke the ground, but he used the ground to his advantage. Shot a fireball here and there, so he did a lot of like different things to show Kakashi's versatility with his Sharingan abilities, and all the jutsu that he learned. So it was really cool working with Sakura, using Sakura in a very creative way of, you know, breaking the ground and making Kakashi come down. You gotta hit him and stuff. And then even getting to see a little bit of the Nine Tails before he actually transformed later when he fights Orochimaru later on. So really cool, really good boss fight. Really good way to start off Storm 2, because Storm 2 to me personally has some of the best boss fights in the series overall, because Storm 3 and Storm 4 do have better, I guess you say better choreographed, better combat fighting wise as far as their bosses, but Storm 2's consistent. I personally think it's my favorite Storm game out of the Storm 1 through 4, and it also covers a better part to me of Shippuden. It covers the first half up until Pain, so there's a lot more going on in that, because once you get to the second half, it's more war focused, and some of it works, some of it doesn't, as you see when I get to Storm 3, how some bosses are better. The later bosses will end up being better than the earlier bosses, because the way they told the story of Storm 3, where you have to like go to this area and fight this boss, and then come back to this area and fight this boss, it's kind of fractured a little bit, but we'll get to Storm 3 when we get to that. We're gonna finish 2 though. So next up is, I believe the next boss, is he on the list? I know he, oh, here we go. So the next boss is Gaara versus Datara. Actually, you know what? No, yeah, I'll put them like that. So next fight is Gaara versus Datara. This is another boss fight where it doesn't involve Naruto, and this boss fight is actually really cool. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move it down because I just thought about it. So the first half, if you guys seen the video, the first half you're pretty much having to, and I know it makes sense because that's how Datara is a character, but you are playing as Gaara on top of a building, and Datara is flying around. He's like, sorry, always talking to me. Thirsty. You're flying around. I mean, he's flying around, and you have to shoot at him, which you're saying to get him down so you can hit him. You can only hit him for a certain amount of time before he flies back up, and you have to wait. There's a lot of waiting. It's not all that entertaining. Gaara's not really my character that I play as. He's like one of those little slower characters with his sand, and Datara, I hate fighting Datara, especially in Storm 2 where they don't have the substitution system is not, you know, more refined as it is in later games. So I think it was Sakura and Sasori. So they're next. Sakura and Sasori is also B tier. The reason it's a B tier is the first part is a regular fight. You're fighting Sasori. You know Sasori has puppets, so puppet enemies work differently in Storm 2 than any regular, like any regular person you fight. You know, they fight with their puppets, and they're in the back, so you have to charge up to them. Sakura's her combo string's a little bit slower, so you can get caught up by the puppets, and then, you know, the puppets slowing you down. You gotta get through them to get to Sasori. But once you get through it and you take them out quickly, then you go into the next phase. The next phase is actually really cool. The quick time events are really cool with the iron and sand breaking the cave and just coming down. You gotta dodge all the attacks. It's really like well choreographed as far as the cutscene and the quick time events. But the second phase is when he pretty much turns into the puppet himself, and then he has like the 100 puppet blade dance circling around him, and you have to like use Chio's puppets, or I think you could like throw like a paper bomb or something at him, and then it'll make those puppets go away, and then you can go in and attack them, pulling them off the little cord and throwing them around. You know, that's how Sakura works. And then the last quick time event, that's probably why I bumped it up higher than Sasori and Gaara and Datara, because that last quick time event is really cool. I think this boss fight did Sakura justice. I'm glad that they made it a boss fight, because they easily couldn't have. They could have easily just not made it a boss fight. They could have just made it a regular fight, but they decided to make it a boss fight, and it was actually a really good one, especially for Sakura. Sakura really doesn't have a lot going on in the Storm games. I mean, she's really more so support than whenever you're playing like with Naruto or whoever the case may be. But having her the main focus and fighting Sasori, one of the Katsuki members, was really cool. And it was a really good boss fight, well choreographed. Not too difficult. It's still early in the game, so it's not I wouldn't bump it up to like S tier, but it's a really good boss fight. Definitely one that I remember a lot. The music is really good as well in it. So Naruto and Orochimaru. Now Naruto and Orochimaru. I won't say Naruto and Orochimaru is actually a great boss fight. And technically it would be better. I guess it would be better than Kakashi and Naruto. So this boss fight, this was right before he fought, and I use that in air quotes because Sasuke was not playing with them when they tried to run up on him. Sasuke would have killed them if he wanted to. At least most of them. Probably wouldn't have killed Naruto because Naruto main character. But the other ones, yeah, he would have killed them. Yamato, Sai, Sakura, yeah, they would have been out of here. But this boss fight was right before Naruto and Sasuke. We're going to get into it in a minute, but it starts off as a regular fight. I believe you just fighting Orochimaru. Orochimaru is very annoying to fight, especially in Storm 2. They never really gave him a new updated move set or a new ultimate. He just hits you with the snakes. He, I think is either his tilt or his jutsu. I think I want to say it's his tilt, where he like jumps into the ground and then he jumps around in the ground and then slithers back over. He does that a lot. It gets annoying. Outside of that, once it gets into the second phase, once Naruto unlocks, I believe how many tails is this his four tail? I think it's four tail form. And then you have like this little whole bullet hell where it's just a whole pit of snakes just coming at you and you're just shooting at Orochimaru. That stuff is super cool. The only reason it's not S rank is because, let's be honest, all it is just you just mashing, you just holding the button down and then just aiming around shooting. It doesn't really require that much skill. If I'm being honest, really all you have to do is just focus on Orochimaru. Every now and then you might have to shoot a snake. There's a big snake that comes at you. You have to shoot that down, but outside of that, it's pretty much just hold down the button until the quick time event starts. And then the quick time event is actually really cool. You know, he charges up the tail beast volley, shoots it at the gates and blows the gates up, and then kills Orochimaru off of that. But you know, can't kill Orochimaru yet. No, Orochimaru survives everything. But yeah, that boss fight is very good. I would say it's quick time, not quick time event. This little shooting like segment is a lot better than the Data Raw one. You're more grounded. You don't really move. You're kind of stationed in one spot and everything comes to you. And you just have to shoot through and mow through everything to get to Orochimaru. I think that's really cool. Just gives you that feeling that like Naruto is really powerful. He's really just mowing down anything in his way. It's just a really good boss fight. So, a great boss fight, I should say. So yeah, like I told you, Naruto versus Sasuke. So this boss fight is good. Technically, it shouldn't even be a boss fight. They didn't really fight, but I know why they do it. Every Naruto Storm game has to have their obligatory Naruto versus Sasuke fight. Storm 1 had it, Storm 3 had it, Storm 4 had it. So Storm 2 is obviously going to have one. It's cool. The first phase is kind of like a regular fight, but you have Sakura on the side with you, and in the second phase, you will just be fighting Sasuke one-on-one. They don't really help you inside of the quick time events. It's mainly they're just there. But I mean, that made sense in the show. They didn't really help either. They all just got dog walked by Sasuke. So it's cool, you know, the flashbacks to the first fight that they had. You know, this is their first time meeting since that fight, so you know, it's all emotions and stuff like that. They didn't really have the part where Sasuke tried to do a Kirin on Naruto, so it's not one-to-one from the like little episodes that they had with them meeting, so it's okay. That's what makes it a good boss fight. It's not mid at all or okay. It's still a good boss fight. It's definitely better than any Storm 1 boss fight, but I would say it's probably maybe one of the weaker boss fights. This one and maybe possibly the next one. Actually, no, not the next one. The next one is still B tier, but it's not anywhere near Naruto and Sasuke. But this one was okay. The quick time events are really cool, really well choreographed. Sasuke has his sword this time, so he does a little bit more close range. Not really punching Naruto all that much. You know, he uses Chidori with his sword, clashes with Naruto's with Sengon, so that way it shows you like their new upgraded skills, rather than just what they had at first with the regular Sengon and the regular Chidori. But yeah, this was a good boss fight. Music was really good. Setting was good. Fighting in a little dark cave of Orochimaru's hideout. Sorry. And yeah, I think it was a good boss fight. Naruto versus Kakuzu. Now, where will I put this? This is now I don't know if you guys know, but I main Kakuzu in the Storm games. He's like one of my 5 characters. I'm not gonna name all of them. I'll just let you guess. When I played with Heathen Lord, there's a friend of mine. We did the Falcons versus Storm for season 1. A lot of characters that I was playing with when I was playing with him were some of my mains, probably mainly Minas, if you guys didn't know. But Kakuzu, Naruto and Kakuzu. So this boss fight works a lot different. The first part is you're just fighting Kakuzu normally. It goes into the quick time event, running around in the forest of dead trees, avoiding his different masks on fire, electricity. Ends up killing one of them, so then it goes to the second phase. The second phase is kind of where it drops it down, because the second phase kind of acts similar. Actually, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna move you. So Sakura and Sasuke will probably be as of right now for Storm 2, would be the superior B tier boss fight, because Storm, Kakuzu has something similar to Datara, somewhat. So not Datara. Kakuzu, you know, he grows like all little tendrils out of him, and he turns into like some like monster. He wraps around a tree. He's shooting fire, air. Tentacles are coming up out the ground, and he kind of works a lot similar to the Storm 1 bosses, where you have to get up close to him and hit him and knock him out of his little tendrils, and then you attack him. When you try to do that, will run away. You can only hit him for a certain amount of time before he goes back. You can hit him while he's trying to jump back, but yeah, you only have a limited amount of time to hit him, and then he'll go back into his little thing, and then at that point he'll get like a boost in attack power and start just spamming you with a whole bunch of different stuff. It's crazy. So that's about it with that. I would say, yeah, his boss fight is like a B tier boss. It's pretty good, but it's probably be the lowest of the B tiers, to be honest. Sasuke versus Itachi. Guys, that's easily an S tier boss. It's one of the best Storm bosses in the series. You know, if you do certain things with Itachi, so I think I did it in the video, but if you like throw like charged up kunai and stuff at them, they'll have like a little like kunai fight where they just start throwing kunai at them, and it's kind of like a little quick time event that you do. A lot of people wouldn't, you know, some people, if you've seen the bosses, you would know it, but a lot of people don't actually know that. It's actually really cool, because I think they did it in the actual anime when they were fighting originally. But it's a really cool boss. The quick time events are cool. You know, you see their like strength and power. Itachi uses Amaterasu for the first time, and then Sasuke uses Kirin for the first time. Damn near almost killed Itachi, if Itachi didn't have the Susanoo. And then that's when we get into the second phase. So the Susanoo, unlike a lot of like giant fights, this one works a lot differently. So you know, Itachi's Susanoo is more defense focused. I mean, obviously it's the great defense, but his actually has a shield. You can't hit him with anything as long as that shield is covering him. You actually have to go around him and then go in and attack him. You have to dodge the sword and stuff like that. It shoots rocks at you. It swipes diagonally and vertically. And then the technically last phase after Itachi like absorbs Orochimaru in the little tube, I forgot what it's called. Then it's like you get that feeling of like, yeah, Sasuke does everything he possibly can, and he still cannot kill this man. You know, he's just throwing shuriken and trying to hit the sword. He doesn't have no more chakra. He can't punch through the shield because, you know, it's a Susanoo. And then at the end, you know, Itachi runs out of chakra, out of stamina, passes out and dies. Like the whole way the fight was choreographed was really good. The music was good. The quick time events were great. Very well choreographed. Looked amazing. Everything about this boss fight was good. However, it is still not better than the next one we're going to get into, and that is Jiraiya versus Pain. So Jiraiya versus Pain, arguably one of the more creative boss fights. Literally every phase of his boss fight is something different. It's not included in any other fight, especially because of how you fight Pain. Pain has, you know, 6 paths of Pain. There's 6 of them that you're trying to fight at one time. The first phase, you're fighting, I believe it's the animal path, I think is what it's called. And you're fighting on the crab. You have to fight the crab. You're not actually fighting Pain yet. You know, you have to get around because you can't fight the crab head on. It blocks, so you have to get around the back or towards the legs and knock it out that way. He summons birds at you. You can jump on the birds and crash them into the crab, and you can do more damage that way. The quick time event, you know, where he's summoning the different frogs and stuff. He has to, I forgot what the Kenjutsu was, but he's like a little square that he puts him in this water, and he ends up drowning him. In second phase, he unlocks his Sage Mode abilities, and then that's when he has different abilities. He's shooting the oil, blowing it up, and you're fighting all 3 of the, I'm trying to like formulate my thoughts. You have to fight all 3 of the different Pains at one time, but you can't actually kill them individually. You have to kill them all together. And I'm not gonna lie, usually when I fight that boss, I'm usually struggle with that a little bit, but when I did it this time, I speed ran it. I took him out, hit him with like a few combos, hit him with some oil, I think, or whatever I did, lined them all up at the middle, and then just started just wailing on him and hit him with a Rasengan and kill him probably like a minute or 2, easy. That's pretty much what you're supposed to do. It's really cool, really satisfying when you're able to just chain everything together and knock them all out. Yeah, it's definitely like a high point for that boss for me personally. And then, you know, obviously at the end when all the Pains come and then they stab him with the rods and they're all just jumping them and stuff like that. It's all very emotional, especially from the show. If you guys seen the episode, it's really sad, but it's really cool at the end. You know, he gets that last Rasengan off of him and kills one of the ones. I believe the one he was originally fighting at first before the rest of them came. He ends up killing them, so it's really cool, really good boss fight. I still think Jiraiya versus Pain is a little bit better. Naruto versus Pain is a little bit longer, maybe a little bit longer than I would have wanted. It has 3 phases. The first phase you fight him normally as Sage Mode Naruto. That's the first time you play as Sage Mode Naruto. His combos are a little bit wonky to do in Storm 2 because they go on a long time. You got a lot of clones just going around doing different punches and stuff. It can be kind of jarring a little bit, but you have that phase, and then after that phase, then you transform into what I believe is the 6-tail, like 9-tails cloak of Naruto. Then it becomes more of a bullet hell. You go around shooting off the rocks of Pain until he falls down. Then you go in and attack him. It's really cool. I really like it a lot. The last phase, I think you turn Sage Mode? I think you turn Sage Mode at first without the little cloak, and then you fight him, and then you transform into normal Naruto. The last phase can be kind of annoying because obviously Pain doesn't have all of his, you know, you killed all of his other paths of Pain, so it's just a Deva path. So his combo doesn't continue, it ends at Almighty Push, and then it just keeps repeating. If you're not really good with substitution jutsu, you can be kind of like caught up in like a little loop of him just doing a combo, and it'll drain your health a lot because he's in his awakening state, so he's doing more damage to you than you are to him. So you kind of have to be a little bit more cautious and defensive of what you're doing and stuff like that. So I think that really works out a lot for the boss, and I honestly think that yeah, it's Originally, I thought it would have been Naruto's best boss, or Storm 2's best boss. But I honestly think Jiraiya and Pain is a little bit better, just a little bit. But they're both S tier bosses. Like, if I were to tell anybody, like, hey, what Storm boss you want to watch, like, I would lead them. You watch Jiraiya versus Pain, you watch Naruto versus Pain, and you watch Sasuke versus Itachi. Those are like the pinnacle, not even just the pinnacle of Storm 2, but just the pinnacle of Storm bosses in general. Definitely great bosses. So that's it for Storm 2. Like I told you, it's not gonna go any lower than B tier. Storm 2's bosses are very consistent. They're all pretty good as well. So, but that's gonna the way Storm 2 does their bosses is sometimes they'll have, and I think this is just for this first boss, it'll be two different paths. They call it Legend and Hero mode. Legend is like a harder mode, and Hero is an easier mode. And this is mainly to do more so with the mob bosses, because I think this game introduced mob bosses. Yeah, it did. So it'll be like, you know, when I was playing with Sasuke, there were like a whole bunch of samurai I had to kill them. And then towards the end, which I'm gonna get into that boss fight, you're gonna be thoroughly surprised where I put that boss fight at, but where you have to fight all the Jinchuriki and the tail beasts later on, and you just have to fight them all as a mob. There's a way to make it easier. You can have maybe, like, for those instances, you can have Killer B help you, or you can split up how many Jinchuriki you fight, so you don't have to fight them all at one time. So that's kind of what it does. Basically, the Legend mode is like, oh, you fight them by themselves, but then Hero mode is like, oh, you fight them with somebody. For this instance, Legend and Hero mode for the first boss is essentially the order in which you fight the first bosses, technically, because there's two first bosses, depending on what side you pick. For me, I believe I picked Legend. So the first boss technically actually was Minato versus the Masked Man. This boss fight was, it was actually okay. I put it over Gamabunta and Naruto. It looks really cool. The game looks really good, so I can't complain that the music's fine. But it's just a regular fight. The Masked Man has an annoying attack where he does his jutsu is where he'll like teleport towards you, and he has a whole bunch of bombs following behind you. You can substitute, if you substitute the first hit where he like hits you, and then you substitute back, and then it hits you into the bombs, you're wasting like 2 substitution jutsu, so that could be a little annoying. You kind of have to block it. But outside of that, it has these little secret actions that they call them, where like if you do a certain like jutsu, it'll play like a certain event. So there was one, I think, where I think I Rasengan into him, and he was charging into me, and then we did like a little thing where he like tries to grab me, and Minato, you know, teleports over him and then hits him with the Rasengan in the back. Yeah, that was cool. But outside of that, it was an okay boss fight. It was really just a regular fight, you know, just with a few cutscenes here and there, quick time events, stuff like that. When I get into Storm, well, this game and definitely Storm 4 will have a lot of fights like this. The majority of them are probably not going to be past C, maybe. Some of them might be in B, it just depends on the boss in general, but most of them is probably not going to be out of C tier, I'm going to be honest with you. So, who do we have next? So the next would have been the third Hokage versus the Nine-Tailed Kurama. This boss fight's actually pretty good. I still like Deidara and Gaara over it though. You really just jumping around the houses trying to avoid getting hit by anything that the Nine-Tails hits you with. So, you know, you shoot your fire, you know, I forgot what the little staff that he hits I forgot what it's called, but the little staff that he hits the Nine-Tails with, you pretty much just do that when the Nine-Tails gets tired. You rinse and repeat, and then you go into the quick time event where you'll have maybe one of like, you know, Ino, Shikamaru and Choji's dad. They'll like do like a certain attack, and it'll be like a quick time event, and it'll do some damage, and then at the end, everybody comes together and they knock the Nine-Tails out. That's pretty much what it is. It's a standard first boss, if you're honest with you. So it's pretty cool, but that's about it. Definitely a B tier boss. It's a lot better than the Minato boss fight. I only like that boss fight because it was Minato, to be honest with you. Yeah, so who's next? So next up, I believe we have the Sasuke fight. So let's talk about this for a second. I don't know how long the video will be, but it's a tier list, so I figure it'll be long. So Sasuke, I don't know, and this is where I'm gonna start having complaints about the way they did their bosses. So Sasuke going up against the Kage, right? You know how he invaded the 5 Kage summit, Obito came in and cleared the war. They don't have, I don't even know. I think you do fight a the third or fourth Hokage. I think he's the third Hokage. You do fight him, but it's not a boss. That should have been a boss. They consider Gaara and Mei, which is just regular fights, so I'm just gonna put both of them. They're not necessarily. Yeah, you know what they are, trash. These are regular fights. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. They're regular fights where they have a little bit more health. They don't do anything different. There are no quick time events. It's just a regular fight. In between these 2 fights, you have to fight Samurai within a mob fight, which is just not entertaining at all. This should have been, they should have cut off the, I know why they did the mob fights, because it was new, they wanted to do that. They should have cut all of this out and just made like back-to-back bosses. Maybe like a little bit of a boss rush. They include A. He didn't really fight Inoki. So just include A and then have Gaara and Mei, and just back to back to back. You're fighting bosses, because that's literally how it was in the show. Like, Sasuke didn't really have any rest. After he fought one Kage, he had to fight the next. After he fought that Kage, he had to fight the next. So that's literally how it should have been. And it should have ended with him fighting Danzo as a boss. This game doesn't have Danzo as a boss. It's just a regular fight because they decided to go with Naruto versus Sasuke Part 3, which wasn't even a fight in the show. They just had somewhat, I think they had like a stare down, and then they did their usual Rasengan Chidori, and then that was it. They didn't really do anything else. It wasn't a fight. So those 2 are gonna absolutely be D tier. They were not fights, boss fights at all in the slightest sense. They were just fights, fighting the Kage in a regular fight. So I don't want to say much more on that because those fights do kind of annoy me. So we're just gonna go ahead and get into Sasuke. This fight is mid. Yeah, it's mid, but it's slightly better than Minato and the Masked Man, and the only reason because the flashbacks that they have where you're fighting the hero or the legend. If you pick hero, I believe you fight young Sasuke. You know, like how it was in the first game where you had the tail beast little cloak of Naruto, and then the curse mark state of Sasuke. You fight that in hero legend. In hero, and in legend mode you will fight Naruto. So you fight Sasuke kind of like how it was in the second game where you fought him with the white cloak and stuff like that, and it's just like a little flashback. That's how most of their fights be. The only reason this boss fight is better than Minato and Masked Man is the quick time events. The quick time events are actually really cool. They're fighting up like upside the edge of the bridge. Sasuke is like shooting fireballs at Naruto, you know, charging in with the sword. It has like a little like first person perspective of Sasuke swinging the sword at Naruto. Naruto just dodging and weaving. He grabs it with his hand and flips him and kicks him into the, like, all of that is choreographed really good. When them 2 fight, like, they just go hand to hand. It's actually really good. Even their little clash at the end with their Rasengan and Chidori was okay, so that's what makes it a little bit better. But I think that their boss fight in Storm 2 was a little bit better, just a little bit. Actually, you know what? No, I think this one was better. I think this one was a little bit better than their second fight. Yeah, I think that's better. You know, they had no Sakura and Sasuke. Yeah, Sakura and Sai this time. Kakashi wasn't helping you. It was just one-on-one fight. You're fighting Sasuke. You know, they had to get their obligatory Naruto versus Sasuke fight in there. You know how it is, but it was okay. It was okay boss fight. But now we're finna start getting into some of the Naruto versus the Nine Tails before he got his Nine Tails cloak. This boss fight is actually better than that. Actually better than Kakuzu, but I still like Sakura and Sasori more. So this boss fight, you're literally like, unlike the third Hokage one where he's jumping on buildings, it's literally you and the Nine Tails in an arena, and you actually have to put the hands on that fox. I'm telling you. Your Sage Mode Naruto, you know, the combos are a lot better in this game than they were in Storm 2. They chain a little bit better. You know, the Nine Tails are swiping at you with the tail. He'll occasionally shoot like tail beast volleys at you. The fight is split in half between probably the longest cutscene I believe in the Storm game, which is the one where he meets his mom. I think it was like almost 30 minutes long. I clearly skipped that. I wanted to skip it the first time I saw it, but it was the first time I played the game, so I didn't want to skip it. I wanted to enjoy the cutscene, but the fight is split in between that. That do kind of bring it down a little bit. I mean, I get why they do it, but still. The second phase, you'll have Kushina helping Naruto. She'll have the adamant chains around the Nine Tails, and you can call her as an assist. She'll chain him down. You can go in and attack him, stuff like that. You're pulling chakra out of him to get your ultimate jutsu, and then at the end, you know, you pull all the chakra out of him, and then you get the Tail Beast Cloak, the first one. Not this one, it's the other one he had before it. Yeah, that fight was actually really good. I remember when they were first revealing the trailer, it was like one of like the main things that they were showing off for it, and I thought it was a cool boss fight for him to fight the Nine Tails. You can fight him with Killer Bee or not. That's the hero and legend thing. So that's it for that boss. Who is next? So I believe it's Darui and Kinkaku and Genkaku. This boss fight, although is better than the Sasuke versus the Kage, because it is actually somewhat of a fight. It is a mob fight the whole time. You're pretty much going from one point to another to fight Kinkaku and Genkaku with Darui. Kakuzu comes back and he tries to kill you while you're trying to do that. The boss fight is not very good, let's be honest. It's really just you, like when I played it, all I did was just run past everything, focused on killing the enemies, and then that was it. Like, I didn't worry about anything else. I didn't care. I was like, I just want to get straight to the boss and finish this. I don't really like the mob fights. The only one I liked was the one in Storm 4 with Obito, where he was killing all the Mist Ninja, because that was cool. But these just be like, yeah, this stuff kind of dragging on. I don't care. This is the only time I think where they actually consider a boss fight, you know, to be in a mob set. Is Choji versus the Ghetto Statue. I ain't gonna lie, this motherfucker will give me a hands. I forgot how to fight them. I've already S-ranked all the bosses when I played this back on the PS3, so I wasn't really concerned about this. This boss fight, it was a giant boss fight. You're both giants, so it's not one like you fighting giant and you're just a regular character. Like you guys are both giants. It's a little bit slower, a little bit more clunkier. So technically, I would put it in C tier. The little dodges that Choji do. If you run up to the Ghetto Statue when on the ground, he'll do like a little butterfly punch it. The Ghetto Statue has a lot of like lightning attacks. If you get hit, it'll stun you. You saw me. That happened to me a lot. It was cool, but it did get kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. The quick time event was really cool with his dad coming in to help him defeat the statue and stuff like that. So the boss fight was cool. It was different, and they decided to do a different character for a boss, which I do appreciate. It shouldn't always be the Naruto show. So even though I know it's based off of Naruto, it's always nice to have other characters be bosses, you know, for a change. So yeah, that's it for Choji and Ghetto Statue. So who's next? I believe it's Guy, Sakura, and Lee versus the 7 swordsmen. Now I just said that I don't like. Just texting. I don't like mob fights. This is exactly what this is. It is a mob fight against the 7 swordsmen. You can either fight them all at once or fight them, I think, 3 at a time. Just like with the Jinchuriki. It does not matter. This one is not as bad, though. I will say this one's not as bad as the Jinchuriki one when I get to it, and the Tail Beast one, because for some reason they have. I don't know why. I feel like the swordsmen. First they introduce them, right? When they come in, they'll introduce what they do. They'll do their like jutsu or whatever the case may be, and then they just fight you regularly. If you're good enough, because you're gonna be playing with Guy. Not gonna be playing with Sakura and Lee, there's your support. If you're good enough, you can actually, in the middle of them doing a cutscene, you can like kill them real quick, right? they'll get down because you have to down them first and then you kill them. They don't just die after you kill them and stuff like that. You can like down them in the middle of a cutscene, and then before the next one even comes, you can like finish that one off and then move on to the next one. That's what makes it a little bit easier than Jinchuriki and the Tail Beast, because although yeah they die when you kill them, like they will crowd you. They will crowd you. I will get to it in a minute, but they will crowd you. They don't really crowd you. It's more like 1-on-1 or maybe like 2-on-1. If you know what you're doing, you can dodge them, but still, it's a mob fight. I don't care about mob fights. They're gonna all be down here. Sorry to anybody that likes mob fights. I don't care. They're not gonna be up here. On the other hand, Kakashi versus Zabuza, which is the second, I guess you can say the second phase of that, where you're fighting Zabuza and, well, you're really fighting Zabuza. You're not fighting Haku. This boss fight is actually pretty good. I'll say it's better than Naruto Sasuke 2. No, I used a thumbnail for it in the Storm 3 video, the shot of like Kakashi with the Sharingan eye running at Zabuza with the lightning blade. That stuff looks sick. The cutscene, I mean, yeah, it's technically a regular fight. I know what I said. You do regular fights in D tier. Well, this was a little bit different. You know, you fight them regularly. It transitions into the like the little flashback where they're fighting on the bridge, and they also have secret actions. I don't believe these fights didn't have secret actions. They were just regular fights. This one does. That's what bumps it up a little bit more, because you know the C tier fight with Minato and the Masked Man has secret actions as well. That's what makes it a little bit better. This one's a little bit better because the secret actions they have a few more. I think Minato maybe had like 1 or 2. This one had like 3 or 4, and the way you do them is a lot different. Like this one where if you do a Water Dragon Jutsu, then Zabuza would do one, and then you guys like mash the button to clash you know, like in the show where they clash their Water Dragons. If you do a grab, I believe when Zabuza is trying to attack you, he'll like teleport behind him and like stab him with the blade, like, kind of like in the show. Like all of that like stuff is like really cool. It's really cool callbacks. Haku jumping in front of Zabuza before Kakashi hits him with a lightning blade, and Zabuza just say fuck it and just swings at Zabuza. I mean not Zabuza, Haku. You know, Kakashi saving, like all of that stuff is like really cool. It just makes it's a little bit more emotional for a boss fight. So even though it's a regular fight, it's a well-made regular boss fight rather than some of the stuff we've seen in Storm 2 and 3. So, or Storm 1 and 3, sorry, because Storm 2 don't have bad boss fights like that. But yeah, that's really all I have to say for Zabuza and Kakashi. It's a really cool boss fight. I'm glad they included it. So we have what I would consider is the only S-rank boss fight of the series of Storm 3, and that is the Kage versus Madara. Now, this boss fight, so first of all, number one, this boss fight is probably where the difficulty starts to ramp up in Storm 3 as far as the bosses, because Madara does a lot of substitution. You know, this Madara has his Susanoo ribcage in the combos with him, so he can hit really far even if you like move away. The arm has a lot of reach, so you can still get stuck in the combo. The regular fight. The second phase, Madara will do the is it D4? I don't think that's the one. And he like turns the whole battlefield into like a tree, like a giant tree forest. Then you know he's going around, he's shooting fireballs at you. Then he sets the whole shit on fire. And then you gotta like dodge fire coming down, but he's still attacking you. And then the last phase, he gets his Susanoo. And then that's when it starts to get kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. So, you know, similar, you know, you guys can probably tell I like the little parts where it's a little different, where you gotta shoot and stuff. So this is much better than what Deidara and Gaara had to do, and what I believe Orochimaru and Naruto had to do in their fight. So you're riding on the sand, you know, a little sand thing. You have your supports with A and Onoki. They'll go in and charge. And Mei and Gaara will help out as well. And you have to like break the rib cage, pretty much. It has like the little like Tomei circling around it, and you have to shoot it. But as you're doing that, Madara is shooting fire. He's had the Susanoo is swinging the sword in a circle or swinging it down at you. If you're not paying attention, you can lose health very quickly. You have to be dodging. You can't block on the things, so you have to dodge You can either shoot kunai at it, that's usually what I do, or you can rush in and attack, but that's a little bit more dangerous because sometimes that fire can hit you on your way there and you start losing health, you start chipping your health away. And you don't want to lose too much health because the phase can go on for a long time, especially the second part of it where he's like doing the heaven concealed and bringing meteorites down on you while he's doing all that other stuff. Like, it starts to get kind of crazy, but if you're focused and you know what you're doing, you can get through it fairly easy. But yeah, this boss fight was literally one of the better boss fights in Storm 3. Probably the best boss fight. It didn't end the same way in the show because, as you know, Kage did not. In this, that's what I don't like about Storm 3. They changed the endings. I guess they had to change it because, you know, they're trying to tell a different story. But Kage did not beat Madara. They actually got fucking killed pretty much. They're on the verge of death. Madara was not playing with them. But I know why they had to do it. I make everything like, oh, they succeeded in beating them. But I appreciate what they tried to do. But versus Naruto and Killer Bee technically, if you want. This shit is annoying. Like, y'all, this boss fight is fucking annoying. Even if you fight 3 of them at one time, or if you fight all 6, I fought all 6. It doesn't matter. They're going to jump you regardless. They all have different abilities. Those abilities are annoying. You got Roshi with the fire. You got Yubito running around like a cat, attacking you. You got Han like hitting you with the kick and stuff, like a little dynamic entry like Guy does. Who else? Fu is one of my mains, but she's a 7-tailed Jinchuriki, so she's shooting like scales at you from a distance and stuff, and you're just getting hit by stuff, by people that you're not focused on, and it gets very annoying very quickly. So it's a cool boss fight. I'm not gonna lie, like having you fight all the Jinchuriki was actually like really creative, but it was still like no, like this shit was. Oh, sorry for the coughing, but you know, it's that time of year. But yeah, this is, it's not even like the 7, like I told you, the 7 ninja swordsmen, they don't crowd you. It would be like 1 or 2 at a time, and then you can, like, you know, focus on them and stuff. This one you actually have to kill them, air quotes, like you actually do have to kind of kill them. And then when you kill them, then I think another one comes in and takes its place until you get them all out. You're not fighting Gaara, because Gaara is helping you, so you're just fighting 6 of the Jinchuriki. But even still, it's annoying. What's even worse is fighting all the fucking tail beasts. Let me talk to y'all for a second, right? Y'all want to know why the Storm 3 video was so long? This right here. This one boss fight right here. This boss fight was 40 minutes long, and that was after I edited. Because if I didn't edit it, first of all, y'all would have seen me die. I absolutely fucking jumped by the 4 tails and the 7 tails. So it probably would have made that part a whole hour long, so that would have made the Storm 3 video probably longer than the Storm 4 video. And number 2, I don't know who thought it was a good idea to have little old Naruto, even in this like non-chill chakra mode, he's a little bit faster, but to have him fight those big ass tail beasts 3-on-1, no, I think it's 2-on-1, kind of the same way as the Jinchuriki fight, but 2-on-1. And if you certain combinations of these Jinchuriki will have you pulling your hair out. The 4 tails and the 7 tails, like I said, is not good. It's not good. No. The 7 tails, you honestly cannot hit him at all, like with a regular combo. You can, and he'll either fly away from you or blow you away with the scale stuff, and it'll still damage you and kill you. That's why you saw me just stop doing that and start throwing the demon wind shurikens at him, because that's the only way you can kill that thing reasonably without taking too much damage. The 6 tails, I think it's a slug. Is it the 6 tails? Yeah, the 6 tails is easy because all he does is just sit back and shoot the shoot the little bubbles at you. He doesn't actually come at you and attack you like the rest of them. He's easy. The 3 tails is the turtle thing. He's slow, so you can like rush him and stuff and kill him. It's just the 4 tails, the 7 tails, 4 tails, 7 tails, 6 tails, and maybe the 5 tails. The 5 tails is not as bad as the 4 and the 7. The 5 tails runs around. This is the horse thing. It runs around and Occasionally he'll charge at you with his ultimate, but that's about it. That boss fight fucking sucks. You hear me? That boss fight sucks. Sucks. I'm back. I had to go and get even though I said I wasn't gonna do it, I'm gonna still do it anyway. I had to go and get the phase where you had to play as Kurama fighting the tail beast, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's a little bit better. It's still not that good. So you fight them one by one, right? From 2 tails to 7 tails. Some of them will rush you and try to hit you. You can rush them and try to hit them. But honestly, literally the strat is to sit wherever you're at, charge up, and hit their ass with a tail beast bomb. Do it twice. Once they get down, I think you press circle over them, and then you finish them off, and then that's the next one. No, I don't like that. Is it better than Naruto fighting the tail beast? Sure, because you're fighting them one at a time, and you're also at a level where you're equal to them, and you're not getting absolutely destroyed by any of their attacks. So, yeah, it's better, but it's not that much better. Still trash. However, Naruto versus Tobi is actually a pretty good boss, I must say. When you fight Naruto and when you fight Tobi one-on-one, because I know you fight him a little bit in between fighting tail beast, but when you fight him just one-on-one, it's actually a pretty decent boss fight. You know, I had the mask on a minute ago. You know, I'll put it back on for y'all so y'all can see it again. I'll put it back on for y'all. How about that? Yeah. Hope you guys can still hear me good. But yeah, you know, the phase is really cool. That Tobi phases through your attacks with his tilt, so sometimes it can be kind of annoying. Like, he'll do like you'll try to do a Rasengan or something, I'll try to do a Rasengan, he'll phase through it and all that stuff. But outside of that, the boss fight is really cool. The quick time events are fucking sick, bro. Like, the thing where he hit, let me take this damn mask off. I gotta glaze this. Listen, when he does, when Naruto rushes at him, right, and he puts like the, you know, the I forgot what he called the Uchiha fan, I forgot what the name of it is, but he put the fan behind his back, right, and he think he blocked Naruto, but Naruto literally foot on the fan with the clones behind him, all doing Rasengan, bro. That's because he thought he, you know, because his dad hit him with that same trick, and he's like, yeah, I'm not falling for that shit twice. When bro turned around and saw him, all them shadow clones coming at him with Rasengan, bro, Naruto is not like his daddy, bro. That man knows one thing and one thing only. Well, 2 things and 2 things only. Rasengans and shadow clones. And he found out the hard way. Did he run out of chakra? Yeah, he did run out of chakra. We know. But it was a really cool boss fight. The ending is kind of weird, and I'm gonna keep saying this. These suckers are in the middle of a war. When he punched Tobi's mask off, or Obito, whatever the hell you want to call him, the war didn't stop. They didn't have a celebration. They didn't go back to the village. Naruto to say, no, that's not how it happened. They're in the middle of a war. Why would you stop the war? You literally just unmasked the man that caused the war in the first place. Why is the war stopping? So that part was kind of weird. That part didn't make no sense. But the boss in and of itself was actually pretty good. So that, well, at least that phase. If you were to average all 4 of these, then this would make this whole Naruto versus Tobi and the Tail Beast will make it a C tier fight. Cause all 3 phases are in C. That one's in B. Actually, shit, it might always make it it'll make it like a low C tier fight altogether. And this is technically the final fight of Storm 3. Cause you see what Storm 1 boss fight was ending. It was up here at A, and then Storm, well, that's Storm 2, and Storm 1 would have been in C tier because it wasn't a boss fight. So you can't say all that, but it is. This boss fight is technically a DLC boss fight. Full Burst came out a little bit after Storm 3 originally came out on the PS3. I didn't play this boss fight until I played it at my friend's Darius' house. And Kabuto was absolutely beating my ass. I didn't even beat it when I first played it. I didn't beat it until I played it again on a trilogy and it was able to beat him. This boss fight, I ain't gonna lie, he kind of hard. It's actually really cool. You're fighting him with Sasuke and Itachi. Well, I think you actually mainly fighting him with. Are you mainly fighting him with Itachi? Because this game doesn't have leader switching. Storm 4 has that, so you can switch who you want to play as. You'll see, like, when I talk about Storm 4 bosses, you know, I can switch between them. But Storm 3, I think you only play with Itachi, and Sasuke was assist. Huh. Okay. But it was cool seeing the brothers team up against Kabuto. Kabuto, you know, kind of went beast mode on for a little bit. Had a low. Kabuto has a lot. The thing what makes this a great boss fight is that Kabuto has a lot of shit up his sleeve. You know, him being the Sage mode, the Snake Sage, and doing all of the different attacks. He hits like a truck. And then when you get into the second phase after the Izanagi loop gets activated, and you know that whole little section, because even the quick time events is like is a little slow. That's kind of what makes it a S tier, because it's like those like drag on a little bit. I know why they drag on, but they drag on regardless, and that's what kind of brings them down. But even that is still like really cool the way it's set up, where it's like, you know, Itachi's trying to set everything up for the is it Izanagi or Izanami? I think it's Izanami. It's one of the two. I can't remember which one it is. I would just correct me in the comments. I can't remember if y'all know. But that after he gets to the second phase, and bro, like he like brings out the, like, even if you guys remember the Sound 4 from the first game, once he starts bringing in their abilities, combining with his, he becomes a fucking threat. Obviously, you know, it's still kind of similar regular fight, but he's in his awakening form, so he's doing more damage. He has more abilities now. Then at a certain time, he'll jump up on like the top of a rock and he'll just start spamming their abilities. The spider guy, he'll shoot like webs around. The webs will stop you. The big guy, I forgot what the name of Jirobo, he'll like shoot rocks at you and you have to dodge the rocks. Tayuga, she'll shoot, you know, like a little like ghost snake things, and they're kind of tricky to dodge. You can't run. You can't run from them. They're tracking you all the time. You actually have to like jump, but you have to stay in one spot and jump, because if you jump in a direction, it's kind of like you dodging pretty much. So it'll like make you jump towards the left or jump towards the right, and you can kind of mess up and get hit by the ghosts and stuff. And then it won't necessarily loop you, but it'll kind of like throw you off and you get ready to dodge the next one. So it's better to not do that way. But yeah, for a DLC boss, this boss was really cool. So yeah, definitely A rank boss fight. I thought I said that there wouldn't be no this boss fight was actually pretty good. I would put it, does they have both of their phases, or does they have one phase? Like, I don't even know what the fuck I can rank them. I figured out in a minute what I'm going to do. But this boss fight, actually no, it was actually pretty, it was better than Sage Mode Kabuto and stuff. It was like actually like really well done. So, you know, this fight has two phases. You fight normally against Madara on like the tree. Hashirama has like his wood jutsu. Midway through the fight, I think like weapons will come on the map and you can grab them and you'll do like a special attack with the weapons. They also have secret actions in this game as well. You know, like break something from Madara, dodge Madara's attacks, etc., etc. Once you get through that, then you summon like his wood golem against Madara's Sano armored Nine Tails. And that boss fight, although it's kind of slow, and technically since it's so slow, I should move it down a little bit, but because of the spectacle of the boss fight, like, you know, just fighting in the forest, just two dang beasts just going at it, it's still really cool. I still think it should be still an A rank boss. It's still really good. So I think the next fight was Kakashi and Obito versus whoever the fuck this nigga name was. I think it was Kuku. I don't give a fuck, because he is going in the detail, because this fucking sucks. But it is better than, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, it's better than Darui, but even still, these still have some sort of like more value than that fight. I'm gonna be real with you. Yeah, the fight, it's a regular fight. You can run on the wall and hit him. If that makes any much of a difference, but I don't think it does. You know, Obito, Kakashi teaming up, like Obito hit him with the fire, and the Kakashi hit him with the sword, and then they do a little tag team thing. You know, it is what it is. But personally, Obito and Kakashi should have been a boss fight, and y'all gonna notice this. Why do they always, the fights that should be boss fights don't be boss fights? It just be regular fights, and the fights that should be boss fights end up being boss fights. Make it make sense. And then after that, I think it was Sasuke versus the dead Hokage. Again, regular fights. Although it is better than Minato and Masked Man, simply because of the fact that he has. So it's like a regular fight. It's 3-on-3. So you're fighting with Suigetsu and Jugo against the first, second, and third Hokage. You can switch in to whoever you want whenever you want. They can switch in to whoever they want. Second phase, the first Hokage summons Wood Golem from the first fight with Madara, and it's like a giant awakening battle against Sasuke. But it's really easy. And then if you didn't know, in Storm 4, even if they're awakened, if you hit them with an ult, they'll get out of the awakening. You hit them with the ult. That didn't happen in any of the other games, but they changed it in 4. The quick time event is really cool. It doesn't have no secret factors though, so actually I might know because the quick time event was actually pretty cool. It's still a little bit better. Yeah, the quick time event was cool. Sasuke charging in. The first Hokage made like a little rock shield around him, and then Sasuke had to pull out his Susanoo, and it pried open it, ripped it apart, and then Sasuke went in with like a Chidori and sliced him, you know, because they reanimated, so they like kind of like took out his shoulder and stuff like that. It was really cool fight. I didn't think it would be a boss fight, but they made it into one. So versus Kurama, the Nine Tails. This is a giant versus a gianter boss. It's more of a bullet hell, to be honest. I think this fight actually better, you know, so it's better than. I would say this fight is better. It's better than the Hokage fight with the Nine Tails. I still like Gaara and Data more. It's a good boss. The first phase is more so you're shooting the eyes with Kurama. Dodging's attacks, so he'll shoot like lasers at you. He'll shoot a tail beast blast at you, swing his claws at you, and you just jump over and dodge them. The second phase, you're actually running away from him in a canyon, and he's like trying to like grab you, jump on you, shoot like blast at you. That part kind of hard because it's hard to control where Kurama's going. Like you can like move slightly to the left and it'll just fling you all the way up to the side, and then you gotta like try and course correct back to the other side, and you getting hit with the lasers all at the same time. So it's like, it's kind of annoying, but it's pretty cool. This fight leads into the next fight that I'm about to talk about, but as far as this fight goes, it's a B tier fight. It's pretty good. Event, I just thought about it, which now that I think about that quick time event is fucking sick. So if you guys know from the show, I mean, this was before Neji died. That was spoilers to you. I don't know how you the show. She would have been over for years, almost 10 years. You should know that by now. But before Neji died, Naruto and the rest of the Shinobi and Alliance did like a little like jutsu there, Alliance jutsu, right? That fight, the way they like choreographed all of that whole quick time event is crazy. Just how they planned everything, how everything worked out, how they got the 10 tails in the cave, and then they hit the slime on them and stuck in that slime to burn them up. And then Naruto, overpowered as his fucking Rasen Shuriken was stopping the blast, was holding the blast back, y'all. It was holding it back before everybody else stuff came in and pushed it, bro. Naruto fucking chill out. Naruto be too strong sometimes. But that whole quick time event was cool. Like Obito's face was hit the mic. Obito's face, like shocked face, like, oh, what the fuck, and stuff like that. Like all of that stuff was actually really cool. So yeah, this it was okay boss fight. I definitely think it was a good boss fight. Second phase or second boss would be 10 Tails versus Team 7. I said, and look how I'm gonna say, but then when you said, well, Falcon, you said you don't like the mob fights, and technically yes, this is a mob fight. However, this is a mob fight on a giant frog with a sword. going around mowing down Tintail's clones. And you got is it Oda? I think that's the name of the snake that Sasuke has, and then Lady Katsuya, the Sakura, and they're like doing this shit. And then like I told you, I had to grind it on the rail. So this boss is this boss would be better than, I think, honestly, I think I could say it's better than the first part of it, quote unquote. It's a good boss, good music. You can't switch. You'll only play with Naruto. You can't switch. Well, Gamakichi. You can't switch to the other summonings. You can only play as Gamakichi the whole time. You do fight a big clone at the end. You kind of fight similar to like what happened with Madara when he had the clone and stuff like that of well, not the clone, but had Kurama and the Susanoo armor. It's cool. I mean, that fight is cool, but it's just the ending is cool, where like you grinding on the rail and dodging the tail beast blast, and then at the end they had the quick time event where Sasuke and Naruto combine their Rasengan and then not the same Rasen Shuriken and the Susanoo Amaterasu arrow that Sasuke shoots, so and they combine it together into an attack. I forgot what the fuck. So Obito versus Naruto. He gave it some ridiculously long name. I don't remember what it was. This fight, I'll say this fight is in between these two. So it starts off as a regular fight with Obito, the Tintail Jinchuriki form of him. And then it switches to, I think you play as Naruto or Sasuke, because they have like Naruto's Kurama cloak, and then Sasuke has this like weird looking Susanoo, whatever, I forgot. I like the Sage, it's the one with the Senjutsu on it, because that's the only way they can hit Obito with Senjutsu chakra attacks. And then the third phase is when they combine together, and then they have like kind of like what happened with Madara, where he had his Susanoo over Kurama. That's the same thing with this. They'll have Sasuke's Susanoo over Naruto's Kurama. So that fight is cool, but it's a lot of waiting. Obito's attacks are slow. Like he'll like turn into a fucking Beyblade and swing around the map, or he'll have claws and just swing once, swing twice, and it just takes all day. And that's really it. And then it goes into the quick time event, and you just hit him with the sword and break through the sword of Nunuboko, and then cut through him, and then that's it. Like, wow, okay. So, okay, I had to go back and find this picture. I don't know why I'm forgetting a lot of pictures. I think this fight was next, but it was Obito and Kakashi versus Madara. After he transformed into his Tintail cloak. It's not that good. It's a regular fight. He does some like after image attacks that you have to dodge with Kakashi, and then it switches to Obito. I don't know why. It was very weird, but Obito, whenever I had him as an assist, bro took like 20 years to do his bomb blast dance fire attack, and I'm just sitting up here just getting my ass beat. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? He's just standing there, and then he just out of nowhere just doesn't, like, yeah, that shit was weird as hell to me. Even Kakashi had like some weird like little hiccups in that fight. I don't know what was going on with that fight, but maybe if I did this tier list 10 years ago, whenever Storm, yeah, it's been almost 10 years ago, no, 8 years ago, whenever I did the tier list when that game came out, maybe this would have been a little bit higher, but right now, nah, it's trash. Especially with everything that was going on with that, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. So yeah, it's just a regular fight with some QTEs here and there, but it's literally just like, it's a better version of this, because Madara is a lot better of a character to fight than unnamed nigga right here. So yeah, also it's a regular boss fight. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this actually is mid, okay, average at best. The reason is, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. So basically, when you're fighting this guy, when you're fighting Madara, right, with Guy, Madara is always going to be blocking with his Truth Seeker Orb shield, and you got to hit that first, break that, then you do a little bit of damage to Madara, then Madara runs off. Well, sometimes he might attack you, but most of the time he'll run off, and then when you start doing a combo on him again, he gets back into the shield. and then it's over and over again until you get to quick time event. No. The only reason that this fight is not in D tier, 1 is Might Guy, 2 is 8 Gates Might Guy, 3, the quick time event at the end of the fight is freaking sick, but even still is not enough to bump it up to good because of the level, because of the actual fighting that you're doing, you know, in between the fight is not very good. But the quick time event is still good though. Don't take that as a shot at that him hitting the Night Guy on Madara, damn near almost killing him. He should have killed him. I'll stand by that. He should have been the one to kill Madara, but you know, plot decides otherwise. So, but yeah, Madara and Guy, like it was an okay fight, but like I said, it's just a regular fight the whole way through. It's one phase. The whole blocking that he does is annoying and stuff. You can't really do anything. It's just kind of just like you just hit through his shield, then you hit him a bit, then you thought like, yeah, like I ain't got time for that. Trying to see. Oh, real quick before I go on. So this is not a boss. I realized what this picture was. I was looking it up. This is Obito when he fights the Mist Ninja, like I said. This would probably be C tier 2. Maybe before, even though this is not technically a boss. I included it in the video, but it's not really a boss. It'd be better than the Obito, not Obito, the Choji and Ghetto statue fight, because it's really cool. It's really, I noticed it was a T-rated game, so they can't really show blood and stuff like that, but let's be honest, all that stuff is blood. He was murking them people. Yeah, this boss fight was, this fight was actually really cool. For a mild fight, it was really cool because you actually felt like you were just incredibly overpowered. I don't even think the folks really actually damaged me unless I sat there and waited for them to attack. They were mostly scared of me. So yeah, that's so next we'll have Madara versus Naruto and Sasuke. So it has 2 phases, well 3 phases, but the first and the third phase are pretty much the same thing, where you're fighting him normally. And for that, I'm gonna say that phase is a that phase is that phase is B tier. It's not better than the Toby fight. The Toby fight's still better than it. I mean, the first phase is just a regular fight. At the end, you do a quick time event. You're just sealing one of his limbo clones. And then in the third phase, it's just a regular fight, but then it has the quick time event where he's like doing the heaven concealed and hitting with the meteors, and then they team up and hit him with like an ultimate attack and blow him up. It's really once we get to the second phase. So the second phase is when you're playing as Sasuke and his Susanoo versus Madara and his Susanoo, but his fucking limbo clones have Susanoos too. Listen. I'm not gonna cap, this phase was very annoying. I'll put this shit in. Yeah. It's better than that. It's a C tier. That phase is kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, that phase was annoying. Kind of similar to when you fought the Kage with Madara, where you have to like, you know, shoot the clones and stuff like that. You do this in here, but you can't physically attack the real Madara unless you kill all the limbo clones. And all at the same time, Madara's swinging his sword at you. He only has, he has 2 swords. So he's swinging his 2 swords at you. He's also doing heavy concealed. I believe he's shooting fireballs at you too. I can't remember. I probably had a video up in the background when I'm talking about this, but yeah, that phase went on way too long, way too drawn out. It shouldn't have even been that long, to be honest with you. There's probably a faster way to do it. I just wasn't doing it fast enough, but even still, I didn't like that phase. I just didn't like the Madara fight all in general. Like, it should have, I felt like it should have been a little bit better, all considering how much they built up Madara. But as we know, Kage ended up being the final boss, which is who we finna get into next. So we're gonna quickly go through Kage's fights, because she has 4 technical phases of her fight, split into 2 parts. So the first part will be, I think it's Naruto and Sasuke versus her, which, let's be honest, it's just a regular fight. So, and don't even have quick time events either. So It honestly probably go right there. It wasn't even that good of a fight. Fighting Kage is annoying. Just in general, her grab, like, her grab is annoying because she's so big compared to Naruto and Sasuke. I don't even realize she's doing a grab because I can't see it. I can't see her hand coming at me. Naruto's grab is really slow. The range of it is really bad. I think Sasuke is better, but I was mainly playing with Naruto. Cause he would just keep catching me in the grab. You know, she changes dimensions. So every time she changes the dimension, she has a different ultimate as well. It's not the same. I'm not ultimate. Same. Different jutsu. I mean. So she's doing something differently every time she hits you, but you'll never know. Like, okay, hold on a second. Sorry, I had to check something. But yeah, you'll never know like what she's gonna do. I mean, I know what she's gonna do. She has different abilities and stuff, but like, yeah, like one time she'll have a lava attack, another time she'll have the ice attack, sand attack with different dimensions, and then she has a vacuum fist and a regular. Also gonna be in the C tier, but it's gonna be lower. Is the part where you have to fight her with Kakashi, Obito, and Sakura. So this is just a regular fight. This fight's a little bit more annoying because for some reason she will absolutely destroy them. That's why I had to keep spamming like the lightning tether thing that Kakashi does, because if you try to actually sit here and fight her, like she will kill you easily. So it's like, yeah, I learned my lesson from the first game. I'm not doing that no more. Well, the first time I fought her. Yeah, I just hold back and just charge up the key attacks, use Sakura and Obito as support to keep her away from me while I do it. And that was about it. Regular fight. If anything, actually, you know what? Honestly, it should go at least fucking mob battle is a little bit more enjoyable than that. Yeah, it's actually trash. I ain't want to talk about it no more. Let's get into the more interesting part of the face. So better fight. It is a lot similar to the one with Sasuke, but this one, for some reason, I feel like it goes on a lot. It's a lot faster. So, it's actually not that bad. Where would I put this in? Let's see. Actually, no, I put it before data. I still like it. You're only gonna be flying around shooting the rabbit thing. That's all you're doing. You can go in and attack it. You can hit it with a lightning blade or cheeto or whatever you want to call it. But that's it. That's all you really do with it. That's about it. The phase goes by a lot faster than the one with Sasuke and his Susanoo, so that's what makes it a little bit better. But still, it's not anything too crazy. And then lastly, you have the Team 7 version of Kaguya's fight, where you're working also with Sakura. The quick time event is really cool, really wholesome. You know, Team 7 working together. But again, a regular fight. That's slightly better than the one with Naruto and Sasuke because the quick time event is better. You also have Sakura in there with you to help you, so rather than just being just you and Naruto, you and Sasuke, so it's okay. But Kaguya's whole section was just very disappointing. You would think that it would be a lot better. They built her up as a final boss, and she just fell flat. Her and Madara were both in the same situation, to be honest. But yeah, there's no point in complaining about that anymore. All right. So Naruto and Sasuke round 4 is actually going to be. I know y'all probably like, when you gonna put it? No, it's gonna be an A tier fight. These messages. This is gonna be an A tier fight. It's not an S tier fight. It is better than Madara and Hashirama, since it's it's the first boss fight and the last boss fight of the original game. This boss fight is very emotional. It's Naruto and Sasuke's last fight before they went into Boruto, before they became friends now, finally. The whole spectacle in the beginning where they're in their strongest forms, Naruto in his Sage of Six Paths form, Sasuke has his Rinnegan. Sasuke also has all of the Jinchuriki pretty much outside of Naruto's half of Kurama, he has literally everything else, and he does the Indra's arrow, and Naruto literally fucking shadow clones two other versions. He shadow clones two other versions of his Kurama, combines them into one with 3 heads, and then does what did he do? I think he did like a tail beast Rasen Shuriken. Then I think he did another one. I forgot what the other Rasen Shuriken was. And then just threw it at that, and then just destroyed the whole Valley of the End. The second phase is more so just them just fighting normally. But this flashbacking, and this time instead of it flashbacking to, no, I think it still did flashback to them when they were kids. Like in the Valley of the End. I think it flashed back to when they were on a bridge in Storm 3. So it did, but it also flashed back even further to when they were young, like they were just becoming ninja type shit. So that was really cool. The whole part where they ain't had no chakra and you just like Naruto punches Sasuke, Sasuke punches Naruto, and all of that counted as secret actions. And then the end, one last Chidori Rasengan clash, and then that was it. They blew their arms off, and then ended the fight. All of that was really cool. I mean, obviously now it lost a little bit of luster because it was, times past. But back then, yeah, this definitely would have been an S rank fight. I mean, it did go on for a long time. The fight in general. Obviously, I know why they do this. The last fight, they gotta get all their stuff off. But it's this is still a great boss fight. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I would definitely show somebody this boss fight if they never seen any boss fight from Storm. It's still a really good boss fight. Not quite S rank, but still pretty good to me in my opinion. What we got next? So let me take another sip. Now I'm gonna be talking about, so this is Road to Boruto, the DLC. I think it follows the Boruto movie. These are the 4 bosses that were in that little DLC expansion pass. First was Sasuke versus Kinshiki, which is a regular fight. However, it's actually really cool. This is my first time playing with that version of Sasuke, the one that was in Boruto. his heavenly hand power Chidori is crazy. I really like it a lot. It's still not better than the Tail Beast. Not the Tail Beast, the 9 Tails and Hokage, 3rd Hokage. It's probably one of the better regular fights turned into a boss, because the whole quick time event where bro was just damn kicking him down the damn mountain and it's just causing a whole crack. Like, it's crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Next we have Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki and this little like rock monkey thing. I forgot what it's called. Surawari, I think that's what it was. This fight was okay. Like, it's better than that Sasuke fight with the Susanoo, and it's a better giant fight than Choji and the ghetto statue, but it's still not really that good. It's really slow. I think you can probably get in a few more hits, but there's a lot of you waiting because he can interrupt your attacks. So if you're going and swinging, you're swinging really slow when you're doing combos with a giant, so he can interrupt your attacks midway while you're attacking, and it staggers you, and then you can't do anything about it. So, excuse me. But yeah, that was really it. It looked really cool. It was really flashy. The whole quick time event where he dodged and then swinged up and cut it in half. That was pretty sick. When he like punched Momoshiki out of the little shell and broke the head and stuff. That was really cool. But I mean, outside of that, it was an okay fight. I mean, it wasn't nothing too crazy. Next we have Boruto versus Momoshiki, which is actually a pretty good boss, I must say. I would say it's actually better than Madara and Naruto. So this boss fight was actually pretty good. Momoshiki had a lot of different moves. He like shoot down like weapons and they blew up. He shot like shockwaves that spread across the map. I think he shoot like a little crimson ball. I think he did it like one time, but I don't think I had it in the recording. I feel like he did some other stuff. Obviously, he has the regular combos. This is the regular fight. He doesn't have no secret actions. It's just you fight him, get his health down, and then you do your last quick time event where he hits him with the little assisted Rasengan from Naruto and just blows him up. It's really cool, really good moment for Boruto, so I'm not complaining. I think it was actually a really good boss fight. So yeah, all we have left now is Boruto versus Naruto. So this is a secret fight. This is why it took me a while to get to this recording. You have to do, what is this? This is like a virtual like VR like mission that you have to do with Shikamaru, where you have to like do like different fights throughout ninja history. And once you do all of them, Naruto will appear and ready to fight you for a boss. This boss fight was actually really good though. It's actually better than Boruto and Momoshiki. To me personally, for what it means, you know, Naruto passing the torch over to his son. You get to fight a little version of Naruto with Boruto, which is actually really cool. The little clash they have at the end is really cool. It's actually a really good boss fight, and I think it's worth doing those little challenges for in the end. So I think, let me look at everything. Alright guys, I think this is my definitive list of all the bosses in the Storm games outside of the Awesome fight. But like I said, it'll be in probably either in C or D tier, probably D tier, because like I said, my stance on regular fights being bosses is not really all that good. But yeah, this is I like this. I think this is a good list. I think my S rank, is it a little biased towards Storm 2? Yes, but let's be honest, Storm 2 has really good bosses. I don't make the rules, I'm sorry. But I did put the Kage fight with Madara up there too, and honestly, you could make a case for having Naruto and Sasuke in S tier as well, but I still think it's almost there, but I still think it's a great boss regardless. And yeah, everything else kind of falls in line with where it needs to be at. But that'll do it for this video. That'll do it for the tier list. And yeah, this is a really great series to record. I really enjoy the Storm games, fighting the bosses and stuff for you guys. So if you enjoyed this series, if you want to see more boss rush series, you know, let me know in the comments. You know, what other games you want to see me do bosses for, and we can do a tier list for that as well. There'll be more tier lists on the channel coming soon. I recorded a tier list for Cartoon Network's shows a while ago. I still have to, I think by the time this video gets posted, that video will actually be done. It'll just be getting ready to come on the channel soon, so stay tuned for that. But there'll be other tier lists coming soon. But if you guys enjoyed the content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe what you think. And as always, keep it gaming, guys. I'll check with you later. Take care.